All right. I'm going to consider that 2 episodes now, so that was for the reason for that. We're going to start another of my favorite quests. This one I think is one of the more interesting ones, actually. So we overheard on the police scanner, this dude was found in an alleyway with this facial wrap, and it turns out his face was peeled off. And this actually introduces a Batman character I was not aware of previously, which I don't know if we should spoil it because it's not that much of a reveal really, but this is the intro to the villain Hush, which I had never heard of. You ever heard of him?
Nope. No idea.
I'm actually kind of interested because they've been making noises in the new Robert Pattinson Batman, which we could get onto that because I'm a little skeptical like everyone else is.
I'm not even skeptical. I'm very curious.
I'm skeptical just because some of the things he said, I'm like...
What do you mean he said?
He said some weird things, though. It's like he refuses to do any physical training for the role because he doesn't want to set a precedent.
What?
Because basically if he does it for this film, then he'll be expected to do it for others.
Well, yeah, you're Batman.
Yeah, that's kind of...
That's a stupid excuse.
I thought that was pretty dumb. But some of the trailers have been indicating what seems to me... like it could include the character of Hush, which is a pretty weird... I won't explain... I guess since we're going to do a long play of this eventually, I won't explain what his whole character arc is. I mean, if you're interested, you could probably look it up and find it. Oh, there's more guys than I thought. I'm just trying to follow a blood trail, guys. This doesn't have to happen. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, they got guns. Ah, bad times. Bad times. Lots of guys with guns. Bad guns. No guns for you. I am Joe Biden. No guns for you.
Oh, my. And demonetized.
Oh, buddies. Oh, guys. We don't have to do this, fellas.
This point, even the people in the loony bins are going, oh, crazy Joe.
Oh, no. Come on. Oh, I've bit off more than I could chew.
You guys have not seen that bit by
Robin Williams, of all people.
It's fantastic.
I got myself into a bit of a tight spot. I'm going to have to back out. Then again, I wonder if I could... I'm just going to follow the blood trail from the sky.
I feel like...
Look to the sky! All right, I'm following a blood trail. Boom. Bye, guys. Oh.
I feel like no matter what side of the political aisle you land on, it's always humorous, even if it's a candidate you like, to look at comedians like...
well, you gotta
caricature them. It's
well, you've
funny.
got to be willing to laugh at folks.
Yeah, exactly.
And yourself. You know.
Did you get kicked to the curb?
Yeah, I wasn't. Well, because the guys with the guns got me. All right, my caboose is stopped again. What were we on?
Your caboose. You need to get your caboose some help.
We were talking about Arrow, and then...
We haven't been talking about Arrow in a while. You talked about Crazy Joe. And...
Well, that was an aside, but now it's derailed me. Oh, we were talking about this? Oh, Hush, yes. The trailers, some of the trailers for the Robert Pattinson Batman, and I don't know what it's going to be called, so I'm just going to call it that, have suggested hints of what sound like the Hush backstory.
Pattinson, man.
I'm Patman.
That's what I'm going to call him now.
So I'm curious to see if they do that because that's a character I don't think has ever been portrayed in film before. You gotta follow the blood trail, man. We can't just leave the dude dead.
Where?
The guy I was following, the blood trail. Gotta go back to the dead man. Dead man's face. It's the lesser known Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Dead man's face. Don't get into the gunfight with the dudes. These are the dudes who kicked my butt. Well, maybe he'll do better. Maybe the student will surpass the master now. I do appreciate that if you happen to hit the guy who's taunting you at the moment, you don't get to... Those guys have guns.
How do I get them out of their hands?
You can drop a smoke pellet so they don't shoot you like that, and then you can do the left trigger and Y at the same time.
Left.
Left trigger Y. Left trigger Y. That only disarms them, so you have to beat them up before they pick the guns back up. Okay, someone still got one. Oh, I didn't realize you could do that yet. You've done something I don't think you know how to do. You dropped an explosive gel. Ah, you're gonna die, son!
He just... And that was actually a very realistic death. He just...
Well, the ragdoll deaths are pretty great in this. So yes, I'm curious about that. I mean, I'm a bit skeptical. I mean, it's hard. I feel bad for the guy. I don't know anything about Robert Pattinson's acting career other than what everyone knows, which is that the Twilight movies were terrible. But I don't want to hold that against him.
Have you watched the Twilight movies, though?
No.
Okay.
Have you? Are you about to defend them?
I'm not necessarily defending them, but I will say I don't know that...
I
hate the genre.
It's not fair to blame
terrible.
the actors for what was really just horrendous writing.
Correct.
That's why I don't want to give the guy too much crap, because I don't think it was his fault that those movies are terrible.
Exactly.
So I don't fault him for wanting to shake it up and change up his reputation.
Right, exactly.
Because I'm sure he's tired of hearing the crap that's said about him. I've lost the blood trail and I don't want to deal with these dudes. I don't even know where the dead guy is anymore. Are these not the same thugs we always end up fighting? Nobody needs to see this. Okay. Oh, it's not the frickin' bat. It's the other bat. I'm Pat-Man. That sounds like what they would call a... That sounds like what you'd get nicknamed if you were like a serial molester.
Pat-Man.
I'm Pat-Man. I'm lost. I'm a lost bat. I don't know where the dude is.
Don't bring it up. I was the boy.
Oh, I think it was over here. I may have found it. I'll throw you a bone.
Hush was waiting in the bushes for him.
He was.
He ripped off his man's face.
Yeah. I won't spoil what Hush is about, because I actually think he's a fascinating villain. He doesn't get a whole lot of screen time in this, but there you go. I don't have to go down there. I can just scan from above.
So you think Hush will
Scanning
be
from
either
above.
a main villain?
I don't even know that he'll be in it. It was not clear that it was, but some of the stuff that was in the trailer reminded me a lot of him. Whether or not that's gonna actually mean he's in it, because it could also just have, it could also be that they're shaking up the Riddler or the Joker and having some stuff. I don't know. Here we go. Okay, I found the guy. Well, not the guy. I found a guy.
Why did you kill him?
It wasn't me. I'm not a killer. I'm a plumber, for God's sake. You gotta believe me.
I don't have to believe anything. Tell me what you saw.
See, I don't quite buy the menacingness of the Kevin Conroy Batman. Partly because...
I don't have to believe anything.
Yeah, because it's just his voice is a little too... I don't have to believe anything.
Do I look like a cop? Well, kind of.
Have you seen... It was a clip I saw on YouTube of all things, it was like a clip from Family Guy, but it was Arnold Schwarzenegger without the accent. And so it was a clip. It was like if Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't have an accent. And it's the scene from Kindergarten Cop where it's just like, is it a tumor? No, it's not a tumor. And it was freaking great. And so I feel a little bit like that's what it's like with Kevin Conroy.
Sounded a little bit like Heath Ledger's Joker. Is it a tumor? No,
it's not a tumor. But it was like, I get that vibe a little bit from the Kevin Conroy Batman. Just not it's not that I have, it's just, it doesn't make sense to me that he could get away with speaking like this, because it's like, that's not menacing. Obviously, I suppose if you're being threatened with, your facial bones being dismembered, you might not care what the guy sounds like, but I
don't have to believe anything.
Like, I would take that line from Batfleck far more seriously. Okay. Oh, and they're back.
I have tears and meat in my suit.
Tears of meat?
I'm electric and scary.
Ah, knife guy, bad times.
He's gonna give you some more tears. He's tearing your suit. Enjoy your suit.
It's not gonna tear. It's not just my suit. He's gonna tear my flesh.
He's gonna tear you.
He's got a knife. It's a knife. His hand. There's a knife in it. It's gonna be in me. Oh, come on. Who wants to get tased? Award sweepstakes. Get tased. I'll do the blade dodge takedown when I'm only facing the blade guy.
I'm Blade.
Isn't that a superhero or a villain? Blade. Wasn't that a comic series?
Blade is. Ooh,
I can't
remember whether he's a hero or a villain. I
think he might be an anti-hero type guy. I actually think the anti-hero scene is. I find that more interesting, if only because I think it's the more realistic. Where you're going. If you were a guy like Punisher or something like that, it's like
that's how you would.
You're gonna be a pretty morally gray person if you take that on yourself.
Right.
Like
anybody who decides to play judge and jury is.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna have some questions lobbed your way.
Have you seen Hancock? It's great.
I have not. You tried to make me watch it once, but we didn't get anywhere through it.
No, we need to.
Well, sometime I'd be fine with that. But now we can hack the security system finally. So yeah, we talked about Batman and stuff. Our experiences with Batman as a character, dinosaur. There you go. That's a great password. We talked about. Did we conclude our thoughts on Arrow from the last episode?
Well,
I think we kind of gabbled a little much. Woo!
Yeah.
I'll admit that got me the first time I saw this.
That freaked me out.
Yeah, because
what crap am I looking at?
Because we're in the museum is Cobblepot's space, and so I remember that got me the first time it happened. Now we introduce guys with body armor, which suck. See? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's what we were talking about. Is the Batman voice? I don't know. I don't quite get why everyone gave Christian Bale flack. Here's what I'll say. It got worse.
What?
In Dark Knight Rises, it's at like peak. I think even he was sick of it at that point. Because in Batman Begins, he does it subtly, where he can still speak. Like, he can deliver full sentences doing it.
Well, and he's also, like, able to whisper, too. Like,
yeah, whereas in Dark Knight...
Alfred, I need to, like...
Yeah, it's like in Dark Knight, and especially in Dark Knight Rises, he gets to the point where he almost can't even deliver his lines with it. Okay, I didn't realize...
I'm going to the grocery store!
I didn't realize both of these guys had knives. Boom.
Boom, boom.
Oh, I did a double knife takedown. I took down both of them. But like, there's the scene at the end of The Dark Knight when he's talking to the Joker. He's like, the people of the city just showed you that it's full of people willing to believe in good. It's like he has to take a breath between every 5 words. I'm like, it loses a bit of its toughness. Like, my favorite sequence is in Batman Begins when he's talking to Rachel for the first time. Right. What's the whole, you rattled his cage. Like, that sequence is good because he can deliver full sentences, and it's not like he doesn't lose his breath between each time.
Right.
And part of the reason is, I'm sure that's, terrible for your voice. So I imagine that's, gotta hurt, but still, I'd rather it have been, I don't know.
Just one time in the outtakes, I wanted them to pull a little bit of the Princess Bride thing. Where were the other? Sorry, I have a cold. Where were the other drugs going?
Have you seen the Pro ZD sketch?
No.
That's like, it's great. I forget what it's called, but it's like Gollum as by Pro ZD. And he's like, sorry, tickling my throat. By the way, I'm really fond of that ring. It's freaking great. You should check it out. You should check out all of Pro ZD. He's great. We're gonna name drop channels way bigger than us. That's how we're gonna get our cred. But yeah, he's great, and I think that's one of my favorite bits, just because he delivers it so great.
Look at you! I'm really fond of that ring. I still think it would be great to get a dog and name him Deagle.
Well, you can do that. I think you should do it.
Yep.
How do I do this bit? Can I reach that from here? Doesn't look like I can. Oh, really? Even that's going to set it off? I probably have to disable it from somewhere else. Where's the wires? Darn you.
I
Darn
don't.
you, Riddler.
Darn it.
Darn it.
Darn it.
Yeah, I'll come back for this. I might not even be able to do this yet. I never can remember.
You wish you were always never. Oh, darn it.
Oh, this fight's gonna suck. I remember this fight normally sucking. But first, we're gonna go this way.
So, yeah, I think
There we go. This one isn't so hard to get.
that the voice worked in that you had to have
It
some
made
sort of...
sense.
It did make sense.
Like, Batman can't talk like Bruce Wayne because Bruce Wayne's too famous to sound like Bruce Wayne when he's Batman. Like, that's just going to draw questions.
Even the early parts of Arrow had an understanding of that.
Yeah,
like
well,
Oliver...
Well, they did it with the voice modulation,
where
whatever,
it's just low.
which
kind
they
of
did
like,
also,
oh.
which they did in the Batman, in the new Batmans, which makes sense. We were going...
Oh, did they? With
Yeah,
Batman
it's
versus
like
Superman?
it's a voice modifier thingy. Remote control batarang. Oh, we get to use remote control batarangs now. Which I'd like to point out, these are a sci-fi stretch too far. Because just, no. This isn't how a batarang would work, and I forgot that the controls were inverted. Like, this is not... Okay, I have to change this. I'm going to change this right now. Invert flight controls, never. Thank you. Oh, now I've got it. I adjusted to it. Come on now. Okay, no, this isn't... Oh, there you go. Okay, now I got it. Okay, they're going to give me that as a hit. Oh, I did not think that was a hit, but okay. Yeah, they do that in the Snyder films, which makes sense, but I think the only reason they did it is because the Batgrowl got so much sort of jokes, which I don't think is fair. I'm like, it makes sense. The character can't talk like that. You could argue that I agree that it got worse to the point where he could hardly speak normally, and it sacrificed his lines to do it, but not all the time. He still manages it sometimes.
I wouldn't do that if I was you.
This fight sucks. Oh, and this is the other hammer guy.
So they cut...
This is
so
a-
they just all borrow them? Like...
No, there's two guys.
Well, I
Because you'll
understand,
notice this
but-
guy's missing the other arm, not the...
Well, but I'm saying the other guy was the Joker. So
yes,
what...
there's a
Is it a tie-in somehow?
Yeah,
Are they
you'll-
brother?
yes, they're
Mongoloids.
brothers, and we'll experience. Well, in fact, I think we'll figure it out while we're here. Like, I don't know. I don't find him as threatening when he talks like that. Anyways, Arrow, Batman. We've covered a good swath. Did we finish the Arrow conversation? I feel like we keep
Well, the
going
only
on it
thing
and
that-
forgetting
Well,
of
the
it.
only thing I had mentioned briefly,
Mentioned
the whole
Deathstroke's
Thea
great.
thing. I think that if not, but her name being Speedy as a superhero, which did not work for me at all. I think the Red Arrow would have been better, or the Red Hood, or something.
Well, the problem is Red Hood's a Batman character.
Is it?
I believe one of the Robins turns evil and becomes the Red Hood.
Oh.
Or maybe, I don't know if he turns evil. I think he sort of becomes a vigilante anti-hero. He becomes kind of Punisher-y, where it's like he kills people and Batman sort of disapproves of him.
Which would have worked for Thea.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want... I mean, this sounds really morbid of me, but if you're going to commit to...
I want people to die.
No, if you're going to commit to vigilantism...
You gotta crack a few nuts.
Especially with those that have gone that far. Like, if you're, like, dealing with a...
He just pounded that dude in the groin.
if you're dealing with, like, a
So this
thief,
is...
okay, sure. Like, just,
we almost got to see the triple takedown. I screwed it up. We probably will get to see it in this fight because... But the triple... There's one specific move that's a counter for 3 guys at once. And it is my favorite counter in this whole freaking game because it's just so awesome to look at. Oh, I saw it coming but didn't have the time. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, I thought there was only 2. Come on, 3 guys come at me. I want to do it. I just threw that at the guy who was already on the ground. Come on. Whoa, 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 whoa. That was it. Did you catch it? He uses one dude to smack 2 dudes. Like, he throws him over his shoulder, smacks a dude, and then hurls him across the room. That's my favorite move in this whole freaking game. Oh, boy. I remember the first time I did this. Now, what we're not doing is the New Game Plus, which is something that's like if you finish the game, you can play it again with all your gadgets unlocked. But they compensate for that by making the dudes even harder. And I remember this fight in that sequence is awful because it's just so brutal. Oof. Come on. Oh, I almost missed that.
So anyway, I just feel like Thea in that show, she was kind of
oh, stop it! Okay, I'm losing my tack.
she was pigeonholed into only being some sort of
I
drama
countered that, I
addition
swear.
rather than actually having a degree of
I don't know that I agree with
hardcore-
that. I think she got sidelined more than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Should we conclude our thoughts on Arrow? If you're gonna
We
watch
should
Arrow,
probably end with Dig.
Dig's a great character. Although he had everyone. Here's my problem. Everyone in that show
Had their
had
moments
had
of
had
idiocy.
moments of having sticks up their butts, and some had others like the weird the
Some had other sticks up their butts that had been up other people's.
some people had other people's sticks up their butts.
Oh no.
Like the what's her head, the Black Canary chick, definitely. I don't think there was a moment when she didn't have a stick up her butt. Was occasionally. Oliver had some. I mean, really, that's the trouble with the show is everyone had their season when they were like the angsty, stupid person, but they usually snapped out of it, and so the show is definitely worth watching. Where would you advise people to stop?
Ooh,
Because you definitely should not watch seasons
after
7
he
and 8.
becomes Ra's al Ghul, to me, that's like
Ooh,
the best place to
That's
be.
early though. That's
It's
really
only
early.
in season 5. It's not that early.
I still was season 6 was the Prometheus guy, yes?
It wasn't because I would be okay
Or
with
was
that. I
that
suppose.
or was that Chavez or whatever the guy's name was?
Yeah. Once you get to Julio Alvarez, whatever his name
I
is.
genuinely don't remember his name. The Hispanic guy. We're gonna get torn apart for not knowing this. He's just not that interesting.
not that
because
interesting at
because they've already done so many guys like him at that point, like just mobsters.
Well, and
That he
they,
loses
and they
his-
just got done with Prometheus, who was a very
Was he after? See, that's what I was going to
well-rounded
ask. Was he after him? Was
No, yes, he was
Che
after him.
Guevara after
character.
Prometheus?
Yes, he was.
Then okay, so if you get to the Prometheus arc, no, but see, here's the problem with the Prometheus arc is that it ends on a cliffhanger.
Well, it ends with this. Yeah, that.
It ends with you assuming the entire team's dead.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're on a downer note, I suppose you could end there. You might. I mean, you'd be better off.
You would be better off. Although you'd miss what's his name?
What's his name? Kuzga.
No, John Cena. No, what's his? It's the Russian guy. What?
No, you meet. I was about to call him Alexei. It's not. It's Anatoly.
Anatoly. No,
You
but
meet
I'm
him
saying you
earlier
don't.
on.
You don't end his arc. You'll miss the Anatoly arc.
No, because Anatoly had his arc and then got a stick and then got the stick removed. Remember?
In 6.
I don't remember if it's in 6. I
That's
just remember
what I was
Anatoly
wondering.
had his arc, and then he gets a stick up him, and then they remove the stick eventually. But I think that's
So-
much later.
So go to the arc before the stick.
So basically, once you get to the end of the Prometheus season, which ends on a cliffhanger, and you'll assume the team is dead.
He's a good enough villain to end with.
Yes, watch only enough of season 6 that resolves that arc, and once they bring in the new guy, just stop there.
Just don't expect anything else to
Yeah.
happen.
Well, don't even not expect. Just stop watching. Like, because season 6 itself isn't the problem,
it's
but
more
season
like it's
there was that
terrible.
move again. Season 6. I
Season
can't believe.
6 was
I just
terrible,
okay.
and-
Hang on. I don't think I've ever noticed that counter. He literally cracked the dude in the face with the sledgehammer. Like he grabs it and literally
It's okay.
smacks him in the
His
face.
pulse is still at 40.
His nose is somehow embedded in the back of his cranium, but he's alive. I swear. We're doing better than before. So yeah, if you do decide to watch Arrow, which is worth it, you should.
6
But
is when it started to go downhill. 7 is terrible. Like no objective saving. or
7 and 8
salvaging
are
of it. It's
7 and 8 are
absolute
both
trash.
horrendous,
Especially when they start bringing in the future plots.
which
and all
happens.
that
It
jazz.
starts in 7.
Yes.
I mean, if you wanted to be a little, if you really like the show, then
Just commit to watching it and
then
join us
what-
in our pain.
no. Well, I'm saying if you really like the show, watch until the first future episode happens, and then skip it and stop.
Yeah.
Because the future episodes are when they really take a dive. So there you go. There's our definitive guide to watching Arrow. I forget who this is. Oh, we're gonna fight a Mongoloid. There's Mongoloid Bane. This isn't actual Bane. It's just a Mongoloid. There's a few too many of these guys in this game, if you ask me. I mean, it's not that many, but there's enough to be like, all right, because it's the what do you think you're gonna do to avoid this big burly brute who's just gonna throw and run at you? You dodge. Oh well, okay, you do it better than that. You let him charge you. You let him smack into a wall. Oh, maybe he's not gonna do it. Maybe I'm oversimplifying it. Whoop. You gotta ultra stun him because everyone knows 3 swipes of the cape is like narcoleptics. Takes him right out. Oh, and then I gotta fight more dudes. I forgot how crappy I... Oh, you have to get on him and then force him to run into a wall. I forgot. Yeah, they're not my favorites. These fights. Okay, let me off. I want to use my combo to take a guy out. Like, that dude's elbow will never be repaired. He won't, not even surgery will fix that. So it's like, Batman might have principles against killing, but he ain't got scruples against maiming.
Scruples.
Like, these people can't work ever again.
Well, maybe not in their current field. Yes.
Well, no, they're not. If you have a shattered elbow, what can you do? You can't work any kind of physical trade.
What is it? What can I do? I keep getting these.
Oh boy, I don't want to be this close to the Mongoloid. I don't. Ah, no.
Mongoloid.
People have
Some people
Mongoloids.
have mongoloids.
He's gonna throw a dude at me. Ah! He hit me. Get tased. You too. Oh, I thought that was gonna hit you. I'm on low health. This fight's not gonna last. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. There's only 2 guys left, and then the big dudes actually aren't that hard. As long as you dodge. Alright, I gotta triple swipe him and then beat him. I'm punching him directly in the groin, by the way. Oh,
It's the dope definition of a junk punch.
well, there you go. Sucker punch to the gonads. Well, there you go. Arrow, Batman. Any other?
He just found Penguin.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Oh, this is now. And we go on to the citizen's arrest thing. I actually think there could be an interesting ground for a. This is an idea I sort of had for a like vigilante, not exactly anti-hero, but it would be like a dude who does purely citizen arrest stuff, like he stays above the law and everything, and part of the drama of it would be how he does that. Like you'd make it, I almost imagine it being a sort of Daredevil-y where it's like he could be a lawyer type character and like he has to navigate being a vigilante in such a way that the cops always get annoyed with him because they're like, technically we don't like what he's doing, but he's always staying above the law, so we can't stop him.
Right.
Like I think that there's fertile ground for that because that could be interesting. Whoop. Is this it? Is this what I got to do? I forget what I'm supposed to do. I know it has something to do with using a boomerang in these electric fences. Oh, I got to go around there because there's a switch. Okay. Now I remembers. Ooh, boy. Yeah, this gadget could never work. This thing would not stay airborne if it was moving this slow, and you couldn't control it if it was any faster. So, sorry, Batman. I draw the line here. But, oof, excuse me. You got any other... We've mined the comic book spectrum pretty well, I think. So,
Yeah,
do
that's
we want
true.
to... You got anything else? We talked about the Christopher Nolan and Batman. And... I
Which
don't know.
brings you to we talked about like the various movies of Batman, which, some of the more famous obviously were done, in the around the eras like late 70s, early 80s, that kind of thing. Do you
Pretty
feel
sure
like
they were only the 80s?
genre-wise, what other movies do you appreciate within that field of 80s kind of vibe?
Just in
We've
general,
kinda-
80s?
Well, yeah, because we've kind of covered that briefly in other times that we've talked. But
It's almost hard to narrow down just because, everyone thinks 80s movies is like action movies, which is, of course, action movies had their heyday in the 80s, but that's obviously not all that came out in the 80s.
right.
It's tough actually because, I don't want to be cliche and say something like Terminator or one of the quintessential action movies, but those are the first things that come to mind. I can't help it just because it is so quintessential that 80s is action movies, but
Yeah.
I'm sure if I thought about it, a lot of other of my, highly regarded movies might have come out in the 80s. I think things like, Dead Poet Society came out in the late 80s,
Yeah.
I think.
Didn't Beautiful Mind as well?
I thought that was 90s, but I could be wrong. I don't actually know much about that
Because
movie.
I actually loved Beautiful Mind. I thought it was great.
That disabled the electricity down here. Oh, so that's what you did. You did the fancy double punch. What did this do? Oh, all that did was unlock the electricity on the gates. I still have to wander my way around. Now this is pretty graphic. He just dumps his people he's killed in fish tanks. It's kind of screwed up. A little screwed up there. That's kind of screwed up there, Penguin. I don't know. You got a thought? Oh, I butchered that.
I don't know. I don't know that it would be.
I don't know what I'm
I
doing.
don't know that it would be
Oh, I remember what I have to do.
action for me necessarily.
I don't know that either, but I'm not sure I can think of anything else. Oh, see, this is what I need to do is I need to be able to. I have to have the electricity on so I can open those gates down there. Because I got to short out the switch. I don't know. What would you say then?
I like more epic kind of like. Trying to think of a good like adventure movie from the 80s.
Adventure? So you're talking like
I suppose
Indiana
like
Jones?
I was about to say I suppose like Indiana Jones maybe.
Here's my controversial opinion of the hour. I'm not big on the Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah, I didn't like the first one because of the weird.
Ooh, are
Especially
you gonna argue any of the other ones are better?
No.
Because I was about to say I've only seen the first two.
Okay, let me clarify. It's not that I don't like them. It's that first one, especially at the end with the whole arc sequence and their faces melting or whatever. I was
the effects do not get much better than that.
well, that's exactly my point. It gets like.
Well, but you're gonna judge them only on their effects. That seems cheap.
But it was like an unnecessary addition. It's like, why do we need this?
Well, see, I don't get what would you have had happen? They open the ark and just everything's fine.
I don't know.
There had to be some consequence. That's the whole point. Is the evil undone by its own arrogance? I don't know. Here's the thing. I acknowledge. I think that the first one's probably one of the best, but I'm still not. I still don't love it. Which call me the heretic. It's not my. There you go. I got it. It's not my favorite kind of thing. I found it. I don't know. It's of an era that I am not, I guess.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to say other than that because it's
It'd be fun to build or at least construct a loose like working off of like maybe decades, like which.
Well, I've actually
movies
done
you
that
like.
in my. Here's something. There you go. This is a thing we could mention. Is I recently got into. We've talked before about how we've both aren't super cultured when it comes to movies, in the way of like, neither of us are really film buffs, would be the way of saying it. Like, I don't know that either of us have a great experience with a lot of the classics, as you would argue, as you might call them.
Right.
And so I actually came across, because I was curious. I was like, I want to experience more movies, just to develop a degree of film critique. And so I looked up, one of the, what? Okay, apparently that was too long. That's dumb because I have to get under there.
Did it just drop?
Yeah, apparently I piloted it for too long, or maybe I got too far away. I don't know. But I need to blow that fuse box. So one of the ways in which I maintain, I guess you could call it a degree of like, I was afraid of that. One of the motivations, I suppose I would call it, for how I go about, bettering my understanding of a thing is, for example, with books, I use Goodreads because it's a way of keeping track and, making notes of like, here's what I thought about this and here's where I like it. Here's things. And then you use that as like your basis for other things. So you're going, all right, I like this book, so maybe I would like these, and I didn't like this one, and here's why. It sort of develops your critical sense.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, is there such a thing as Goodreads for books? And it would turn out that there is. And it's called Letterboxd. Boxed spelled with no E, so Boxd, Letterboxd. And I actually quite appreciate that as a service because it basically is exactly like what it sounds like. It's good. It's Goodreads for films. And I cannot get that down. I may have... did I screw this up? I might have screwed this up.
Why? Because you killed everybody?
No, this is how I got up to the top level through this lift thing. But I don't think I can because it's up.
Can you just pull it back down?
Well, the only way to do that is from inside it. It's the electrical... Oh, no, there isn't. Okay, it's on the ground. I was about to say, did I screw this up? I can't have done that. Because the only one I saw was the one that's in there. Okay, never mind. Because I had to have the electricity on so I could short out that box, but if I have the electricity on, I can't open the gates, so I have to now turn the electricity back off. So if you're interested in that kind of service, then I would recommend that, because that's how I've been keeping track of what your watch list and your reviews of like what you've seen and and your thoughts on it. And so that's definitely been something I've used to watch films, and that's one of the reasons it's like I've been doing stuff like going back and watching the Indiana Jones, which I've never actually seen all the way through. So
right. Because then you can make actual evaluation on them and then come back later and know what you thought about it rather than trying to guess.
And once again, I don't exactly know how I got onto that. How do I just burst through? Oh, probably explosives, duh. You mentioned... Oh, you mentioned...
broader 80s
and you mentioned being able to...
Find one
cross-reference for it's like, here's films I liked from each decade. And that's something you can do in that, because you can... It's like logging a film is what it's called. And so it's like you say, here's the day I watched this, here's what I thought of it, give it a rating. And you can give it different tags. And that's one thing I've done in the tags. It's like, I do stuff that's like, here's the actors who were in it, here's the director, and I also have, like, here's the year it came out. So I bet you I could actually do that I could probably look through my letterbox and be like, films from the 80s, which are the ones I liked?
Yeah.
But, yeah. So here we are at
That guy
Penguins.
froze quick.
Well, some kind of magic gun, apparently. So, sadly, I don't have that on me. So, but yeah, if you're interested, that's a service you would probably appreciate, because I don't know, I enjoy trying out new stuff.
Yeah. Well, and the neat thing is, I'd encourage anybody writing things down, as much as it seems tedious at the time, is actually really helpful for coming back to, even if it's like just a passing, like, I experienced this today, or this is what I thought of this movie.
Ice
it's like,
is going to be a problem, I think. Yeah. Got to do this sort of. There you go. And it doesn't always have to be. Sometimes people think, that means I gotta like keep detailed logs and stuff. It's like, well, no. I pretty much never write reviews on either Goodreads or Letterboxd, just because to me to write a review is sort of like it takes a bit more forethought. You got to put some effort in because other people are going to read that. And it's like you want to make it cogent. But I almost always rate stuff because that to me is where that helps me go. I don't know what I thought about this movie or book. I look at other stuff and be like, well, I definitely liked it more than this, but not as much as that, so it's got to go in here, and it's a useful tool that way. You're not much on Goodreads, are you? All right, is you? You join? You help? You need help there? I said, are you on? You're not much on Goodreads.
No.
I don't think I'm. This is probably a bad idea.
The only reason I'm not on Goodreads right now.
Okay, I thought I was.
Gotta be honest, is because a lot of the books that I'm reading right now. Actually, I would say the lion's share, because there's very few books that I'm reading that aren't.
I forgot about this. I forgot about this.
That seems a little arbitrary.
Well, it's Penguin. This is his.
That all of the books I'm reading right now are academic, so I suppose
yeah, but
I could give them
nothing wrong
evaluation,
with,
but I mean...
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I have some of my textbooks on there just for completeness' sake.
Yeah. I'll probably start adding things in retroactively and then go back, because I technically do have a Goodreads account, I just don't know.
Oh, do you?
I've never reviewed anything.
I've never actually even seen that.
So...
it told me to do this, and I don't know why. Oh, I'm saving people. Right. I honestly don't love the Penguin series in this game. Just because it's a lot of this kind of... There's a lot of back and forth. Go into the museum. Oh, I can't hack it. I got to go out and find the stuff. Okay, go back in the museum. And then there's, that entrance is going to be blocked off. I've got to do a whole bunch of this kind of stuff. The Mr. Freeze part of this game is definitely the highlight. And I like a lot of the side quests. As I've said, the Zaz side quests and the Hush stuff I think are great.
Yeah.
I forget how to do what I'm trying to do. I need to release that raft somehow. Oh, perhaps like this. Okay, there you are. Oh. Did you actually answer that question though about your favorite? Like, do you like the Indiana Jones, or did you?
Yeah, no, I like the Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put my finger on something that was 80s inherently that I would have really enjoyed. The Rockies were 80s, yeah.
Rockies, I believe 3 through. I think it was actually only 3 and 4. I think Rocky 2 and Rocky Run were both late 70s.
Okay, so that doesn't really.
I might be wrong about Rocky 2. I think it was Rocky 1 was 76 and Rocky 2 is 79. I might be wrong. Rocky 2 might be like 1980 exactly. That's actually not a bad comparison, because I would actually say Rocky 3 is my favorite.
Yeah.
So that I know is in the 80s, so I could probably count that. I mean, I like the first Terminator. I haven't seen the second one yet, which I believe was not in the 80s. I believe that was 90s. So I guess that doesn't count either. But what? Okay, the dude was on this raft. Oh, he got off. Okay. Is this the only cops we got left? Dude, I let you out already, you weirdo. Oh, I didn't talk to him.
Stay here for now. No problem, sir.
Really?
There are more of us. If they're still alive, I'll find them.
If they're not, screw them.
But yeah, it's hard to put my finger on one particular. But I would say that it's probably not specifically in the purely action genre, because, of course, as a martial artist, there's quite a few movies that were in the 80s, like Bloodsport and, if I recall, there was quite a few of the Jackie Chan movies that were released, like, I'm pretty sure Drunken Master was released at about that time. So, I mean, but those are fun and kind of goofy.
Now, here's something you could perhaps give me the tips I need on, is I have not delved. Yeah, sure. I've not done any of that into the martial art film scene. So,
That's a harder one because
that's something I've been doing recently. Like I've said with the letterbox, I've been selecting. Could you give me 10? Might be too much. Could you give me 5? Because I've been doing
that.
that.
You have to watch.
Like the quintessential. If you don't know anything about martial arts films, watch these and they'll give you the gist.
Okay, so in order to give you the broadest spectrum, I would say watch the
Oh, these guys have night vision goggles, which means if I'm hiding up here, they can actually see me.
watch the
There's
original.
only 5 of them, 6 of
The
them.
original scenes, if you will, like the inclusion of the original scenes version of the movie of Game of Death, which is Bruce Lee's last movie
And
when he
what
died.
what do you mean by original
Because
scenes?
they replaced a ton of scenes after he died. When
So is this like a director's
they were
cut or
already
what is it?
filmed. Yeah, if you watch the the cut that actually has all those original scenes in them, that's worthwhile seeing because that's like literally classic martial arts cinematic moment. And then I would say probably a Jet Li movie of some kind.
Okay.
Let's go with Fearless, maybe. Which is about wushu, if I remember right. And then Yip Man has to be on there, not because of the fact that that's obviously the martial arts tradition I was part of, but
would you
because
watch? Now, I do know enough to know that there's like 3 of those, isn't there?
just the first one would be great. The other ones are more if you are into that particular branch, probably.
Oh, no, wrong time. I meant to darn it. Buddy, bad times, run. You're through there. Oh, okay, never mind. They think I'm upstairs. Think that. Continue to think that. I am not in a vent.
I am not a vent.
That went very wrong.
So that's 3, right?
Yes.
You would probably need to watch at least one Wire Fu movie, like one of those ones where it's like, okay, this is obviously fake, but that's what it is. I would not recommend one of those really old school ones like Crouching Tiger. I mean, that's...
Oh, really? Because that's a famous one.
Yeah, no, it's... What would I would roll with is like maybe... I think Drunken Master's worth watching.
That's
Which is
Jackie Chan. isn't it?
Chan.
I've heard that.
So that one probably be the 4th one, and then I don't know what the 5th one would be. It would be some sort of wire fu. But the thing is, I don't like wire fu.
Well, then you don't. Well, don't foist it off on me.
No, but the reason that you should watch it is because it definitely would give you still a broader perspective on that particular
I
genre.
I don't think I would like it either, just because.
Well, then don't. Okay,
What?
well then.
Excuse me. There's a Riddler. What? Riddler. This is just too easy, man. I like the mental image of my head of Riddler crawling through these, placing crap in them. Hey, buddy, you should come over here.
Then I would probably
This
go.
way.
If you don't want to do any wire fu, then I would probably then after that go with.
Hey, buddy, over here.
A.
Yes, come, my darling.
Oh, you know what? I do know Ong Bak, because that's Muay Thai,
All right.
and that one's great.
Come on, buddy.
So those 5 would probably be at least starting points, and then you can kind of get a feel for what you like.
Buddy, bad. Come over here.
Because I already mentioned like Unleashed and stuff like that, but I wouldn't necessarily consider those like classically martial arts movies. I mean, they are, but not in the sense that like The Man from Nowhere technically is a martial arts movie too, but not really.
I don't know what that is.
The Man from Nowhere is like a foreign version of Bourne.
Oh, that sounds like it could be interesting.
It's
I mean,
fun,
based
but
on that description, at least.
It's fun, but I don't know.
Come
that
on,
I
buddy,
would,
keep moving.
I would classify that as like a kung fu movie or like a martial arts movie.
Come, my child.
Yes,
Nosferatu.
That's gonna be a joke that never gets old.
And then, while this guy goes to investigate the Nosferatu, I wasn't gonna get the chance because I glitched his head into a pillar. There's one more. Where you at? Ooh, hello, my child. Come this way. making Batman into a lot creepier than he is. If he was like really creepily into it. Come, my friends. Yep, I got him because I'm the boss. Boss spelled B-O-W-S.
Bows.
Hey, you look an awful lot like me. Tom, good for yous.
I've seen your file.
I know who you are, Tom.
I mean, yes, sir.
He's creeping. I know who you are.
You have?
I know where you sleep.
Please don't Nosferatu me. Please.
All right, let's see what we doing. We gotta find the freeze suit. Oh, that ain't what I said.
Just his suit. He can't survive without it. And he can find it before it's too
Oh, I can't actually grab it before I find freeze.
He can't survive without it? I thought that it was just his wife that had the condition. He was more
No,
just...
he got
He keeps his wife, obviously...
his wife is
Cold,
permanently frozen because she has some genetic disorder.
And he's trying to fix
He's
it.
trying to cure that,
Right.
But obviously he's doing that so that he has the time to find the cure because it's like some incurable disease.
Right.
And then, some of his research got found out because it was like technically unethical.
Right.
And there was a lab accident as he was caught, which basically made him, it like permanent. I think what they explained it as is it permanently lowered his body temperature because it was like part of the cryochemicals got all over him, and so he's like permanently frozen. And so if his body temperature comes above freezing, he basically suffers like heat stroke, and so the suit keeps him cold at all times. I thought you knew this. I've explained the whole joke about why I need a suit like that.
Yeah.
Because I freaking can't stand like hot weather and stuff. It gets okay. Climb, Batman. Up. Whoop. There you go. A little
Just
flourish.
wanted to show you a little ditty after that.
I don't think I can get in here yet. I think I have to go the other direction first.
So yeah, we should start adding.
Was that
some
5?
of those,
Did you get
martial
through all
arts
5?
Yeah.
All right. There you go.
We should start adding those on though and watch those because that would be.
I didn't think I could go this far yet.
I think Game of Death is actually.
I didn't think I could come in here yet because I have to find freeze first. Bye. I've never actually done that before. I forgot that. I didn't think you could get in here until you found freeze.
Game of Death though is definitely.
That sounds very
sad.
martial artsy.
Well, that one is, but I'm so sad that one didn't get finished because that's the one that. That's the one.
Well,
that,
you're saying so it's not a finished film?
Well, it's finished, but they finished it without Bruce Lee, so it's really not finished.
Well, but then how? Well, then what is the? How can you find the version that is Bruce Lee?
It's on YouTube.
Well, so it's not even a It's not even a complete film then.
Oh no, it is. But if you watch the actual film, it has an actor that they tried to replace Bruce Lee with, and it's terrible.
There you go. Well, okay.
The original one.
Are you
with
sure this
Bruce
is a
Lee-
good thing to recommend? If it's
No, it
hard-
is. Trust me, it is. Like within the
Okay.
martial arts movie community, that one is one you have to watch because it's Bruce's last film, and there's a reason for it. He had such a way of putting martial arts on cinema in a very engaging way, because he basically communicated his martial arts philosophies, I suppose, or even I would argue more of his life philosophies and ideologies through cinema, because he was the one that wrote and directed most of them.
I did not know that.
And so
That's interesting.
with especially with Game of Death. So
I noticed a suspicious lack of Chuck Norris films on this list. Is that purposeful?
no, I believe that Chuck Norris is, I can't remember which Chuck Norris.
Because there's one movie that's Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee, isn't there?
Right, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that's Game of Death. I think it's a different one. I think that one is.
Isn't it also the one that Steve McQueen's in too?
I did not know that it was one that Steve McQueen was
I
in.
don't know
That's
that.
interesting.
He might have been a different movie. I know that he's done movies with Steve McQueen and Chuck Norris.
Yes.
I don't know if they're both in one.
They actually trained together, believe it or not.
Well, yeah.
What
Well, because
was
wasn't it that Steve McQueen was trained by Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris was trained by Steve McQueen? Or am I
No,
getting that
no.
wrong?
Chuck Norris actually worked directly with Bruce Lee as well.
And did he train Steve McQueen, or did Steve McQueen also train under Bruce Lee?
I don't know anything about Steve McQueen. So
I
I'm
thought
not sure.
I thought one was trained by Bruce Lee, and then the other was trained by the other.
Well, then if I had to put my finger on it, I would say Steve McQueen was not trained by Bruce Lee. And
Here
was
we go. We're
trained
gonna
by Chuck
find
Norris
our friend Mr. Freeze.
because
Except we're gonna have to go through a fight, and even this sequence, I think is just I don't know. I like Mr. Freeze. Oh, I thought I could actually talk to him. I forget how I gotta. Oh, this is a fun sequence. Clearly, I've got to blow up this wall. Boom. Subversion. So here's the other Hammer brother. I think we'll actually find their story in this. Somewhere in this, I think it's one of the trophies you can get is like character info, and I think you find the two one-armed brothers details in here. Ah, boy. No, I don't want to fight him yet. I want to take out the goons. Goons always go. Goons go first. Okay, that was just rude. Ah! I countered that. I don't accept that result.
so that's hard though because I have almost too much broad swath of that
Yeah.
particular genre in movies.
I don't have any. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
It's been a fun process actually because I've been doing that with what
else
I've
have
been
you done?
collecting what are the top 10 recommended Schwarzenegger films, the top 10 recommended Stallone films because I like both of them. I like both of their action stuff. I've looked up I think it was either 5 or 10. I think it was only 5 like Clint Eastwood movies because I've never seen any of the Western type Clint Eastwood stuff. Ah, buddy, you gotta go, man. Get out of here. Just stop getting up, dude. You'd learn. Your life would be better. Oh, okay. This is stupid, dude. I'm supposed to be able to stun him.
I think he's saying no.
I'm supposed to be able to triple stun. Boom, like that. And then I pound his head into the dirt. Alrighty. Let's go save Mr. Freeze, and we'll probably call that it for this episode when we do that. Because we are getting to the hours marks. Now, here's the thing. Mr. Freeze, the fact that, going back to the naming thing, Mr. Freeze is the only one I actually think makes the most sense. Because he's German,
Yeah.
and so his name is spelled the way you'd pronounce freeze in German.
Right.
I'm like, that to me makes sense only because that actually has a reasonable backstory. Like,
Right.
I don't believe the surname Nigma exists. I don't think anyone has that surname. And I don't think anyone has the surname Quinzel either. And if you're naming your kids Harleen, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But Victor Freeze, I'm like, I could believe a German man was named that. Because it makes a degree of sense. So that's the only caveat. That's the only exception to my DC name has bad names
Oh,
rule.
sad. I was going to say Micro Brew.
All right, here's our friend Mr. Freeze, Herr Freeze. See, this is me on a hot day.